What's that? Taking a nice deep breath with me, please. Just dropping into that place where our soul knows that we are absolutely right where we're supposed to be. And feeling that vibration of faith that comes along with that knowingness. That faith that is already fully present in this room, waiting for us to discover it. The vibration of faith that has been etched upon our hearts the moment we came to the planet, and even before then, as we manifested ourselves here, not only on the planet, but in this very room. Faith, the very energy of that which is seeking to be revealed in and through and as each one of us, which we are now allowing to emerge, knowing that just by showing up this morning, we have set an intention to already be fully present as you, as me, and where we are sitting this morning is knowing that it is the very center of the universe, because the divine center is everywhere and spirit's circumference is nowhere. So wherever we are, God is. Wherever we are, the divine is. Wherever we are, spirit is showing up as each one of us. So we're here, the truth is we're here to take that everlasting stand in the power that we already are. Because as I say very often, we're not here to get anything, but we are here indeed to release all that we are. All that Spirit has manifested as each one of us. And so what happens is we begin the shifting process and becoming the change that we want to see in the world. We begin to claim that eternality, that vibration that is being called forth to stand in the power of the one, of the source of all things. And so we begin by not only stepping into this awareness, but as we step into this awareness, we begin to birth a new life, a new truth of who we are. And so that is because Spirit is all there is. And so we don't want to simply jet into the future without acknowledging the past. Because we are learning, hopefully, some of us are learning from the past as we continue to open up and emerge as the future, as the present. And the truth is everything is happening at once anyway. And so to acknowledge that, to be living here in the present, means we're acknowledging the presence of our soul right here. And so we're here to see through new eyes. We're here to open our eyes and become that which we were destined to become. Because all spiritual growth comes with letting go, with change. And so I invite you this morning to just release anything that would hold you back from being the person that you are. I invite you to release anything that would hinder or harm you in this moment into stepping into the greatness that you already are, that you are already born into. Knowing that as we step into that greatness, we acknowledge that our light begins to expand and shine so that everyone who comes within our circle of light is changed simply because we became aware of the truth of who we are, the living expression of the divine. Oh, we're talking about nature this week. Our theme is nature, and I love nature. How many people here love nature? I love to be in the woods, Now you pay a lot of money to go forest bathing. I think, I can't help it. I think that is so ridiculous. forest bathing. I'm paying someone $5,000 for them to take me into the woods and leave me there for an hour. I think I can do that by myself. Do you? Do you think that you can go? Man, we have some amazing places to go here in Kentucky. Yes, beautiful, amazing places. And so we're talking about nature. And last week, our practitioner, Louise Talon, kicked off the month by talking about our oneness with nature and as nature and how we are not separate from it. She also talked about a fascinating network operating beneath our feet, the mycelial network, which is comprised of the fungal organisms that live in the soil and is interwoven with tree roots. It's going on right now, whether we even acknowledge it. It's all happening in this network. I love that. And she also talked about the only thing that separates us from other animals is our ability to destroy the environment. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. So this week, we're exploring the topic, the water of life. And I find it interesting that these talk titles were created over a year ago, and yet they seem to be relating directly to what is happening in our world right now. Take, Eastern Kentucky, for example, proving to us that water not only gives life, but it can take it away. So let's begin at doing a little looking at what water actually is. So water's role in supporting life are due to its molecular structure and a few special properties. Water is a simple molecule composed of two small, positively charged hydrogen atoms and one large negativity charged oxygen atom. When the hydrogens bind to the oxygen, it creates an asymmetrical molecule with positive charge on one side and negative charge on the other side. To me, that said that opposites attract, right? This charge differential is called polarity and dictates how water interacts with other molecules. Enough science. Now, water makes up 60 to 75% of human body weight. A loss of just 4% of total body water leads to dehydration. And a loss of 15% can be fatal. And likewise, a person could survive a month without food, but wouldn't survive 3 days without water. No other substance on earth is as abundant as water. It is almost everywhere. It's in the air, the clouds, the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, the springs, and the glaciers. In the 5-kilometer layer below the sea level on Earth, water is nearly 6 times as abundant as all other substances put together. And nothing else occurs in 3 different states, solid, liquid, and gaseous, at the same time. And yet, with this crucial dependence on water, which broadly governs all life forms, globally, 785 million people lack even a basic drinking water service. 785 million people. That's over twice the population of the United States. Drinking contaminated water can transmit diseases, and in fact, in 2017, nearly 1.6 million people died from diarrheal diseases. And right now, in our world, 4,500 children die every day from preventable diseases related to a lack of access to clean water, adequate sanitation, and hygiene. So clearly, water is vital for survival. These numbers really blew my mind. So let's break this down. From the time that humans began settling in communities, they settled along lakes and rivers and seas, areas that could support life. It's estimated that 80% of the world's population lives within 60 miles of an ocean or a lake or a river. Over 500 million people owe their livelihoods directly to water, and 2/3 of the global economy is derived from activities that involve water. We use water for drinking, cleansing, working, recreating, recreation, and traveling. It is estimated that each person in the United States uses 80 to 100 gallons of water every day for what we consider basic needs. 80 to 100 gallons of water a day. And we consider that basic needs in the United States. As vital as water is, we pollute our rivers, our lakes, and our oceans, and we divert it. We divert water from areas that need it. Not only are we directly impacted by our actions, but all of nature suffers from our misuse and greed of water. And I want y'all to think about this. For most of us, it's hard to fathom the idea of waking up before sunrise every morning and walking for hours and hours to find a water source. Yet every day around the world, there are 10% of the people who do just that, standing in line to access a muddy hole in the ground that is shared with other human neighbors and their livestock. After they've filled their bottles, they carry 40 pounds of dirty water on their backs all the way home to serve their families who constantly suffer from stomach pain and diarrhea. And we in the United States, we think this is a foreign problem. The water crisis in Flint, Michigan changed a whole sense of safety for some Americans, but not for all. But I want you to keep in mind that Flint, Michigan is only one of many places in the United States where people do not have access to safe drinking water. You don't have to go much further than down the road to where strip mining took place in Kentucky to know that unsafe water affects people everywhere in the United States, right here in our own state of Kentucky. Now, here's the thing. Many people remain unaware and uninformed, and that's what I'm doing this morning, because this all really blew my mind. I knew we had a problem, but I didn't know it to this extent. Many people still remain unaware and uninformed, continuing to support activities that pollute rivers, lakes, and oceans directly and indirectly. And we waste water on indulgences like lawns and golf courses in deserts. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, water reserves are becoming depleted. Crops and animals are dying. Lake Mead and the Colorado River right now are at record lows. Some lakes no longer exist. And one of the biggest ways that we waste resources, does anybody know what the biggest way we waste resources is? Okay, I'm going to let you know. It's bottled water. through the use of bottled water when we don't need it. So let's talk about this myth perpetuated by the advertising industry, that bottled water is superior to the water that comes out of the tap. Americans spend $16 billion a year on bottled water. $16 billion on bottled water. The marketing often focuses on the purity of water and implies if we really love ourselves, we'll drink bottled water, not tap. The reality is really much different. Almost 3 million tons of plastic are used to produce bottled water worldwide, and 80% of this ends up in landfills. The Pacific Ocean now has an area twice the size of Texas called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is made up of plastic deposits. The majority, plastic bottles. So think about this. While bottled may be branded as mountain or glacier water, that's not always true. Some bottled water may even come from tap water. For example, brands like Aquafina, Dasani, and Nestle get their water from the local supply. The average cost of bottled water is $1.27 per gallon, and the average cost of municipal tap water is $0.003 per gallon. And the biggest joke of all, the global water industry legally bottles water near sources, then sells it to the people downstream who once had free access. Those source rivers, lakes, and streams eventually either run low or dry, and the consumers not only pay for their water, but deal with plastic packaging waste. As animal watering holes around the planet go dry, animals either migrate or die. It's a consciousness of separation that allows many to live in lack so that a few can enjoy the benefits. Bottled water is not safer than tap water. In fact, the federal government now requires more rigorous and frequent safety testing and monitoring of municipal drinking water than ever before. Flint, Michigan woke a lot of people up. So how do we, now that I've told you all this information, how do we as individuals or as our own community address the global problem? And what does this mean spiritually? Right? As Alan Watts said, you didn't come into this world, you came out of it like a wave from the ocean. You are not a stranger here. So how do we take care of our beautiful planet and the water of life that has been given to us? How do we be good stewards of what we have been given? I've got some ideas. First, take a baseline of how many gallons of water you use on a daily basis and see if you can cut that by 10%. And you can do this very easily by taking a few simple steps. I started last week when I was doing this talk. For example, not leaving the water running when you're brushing your teeth or washing your dishes. Only running the washing machine when you have a full load. Collecting, how many people turn their tap on when they need hot water and it takes a while to get your water hot? For me, it does. Collecting that water. Collecting the water that it would normally be wasted when you're waiting for it to get hot and using it to water your plants. Check for leaky faucets and take shorter showers. Additionally, you can prevent contaminating water supplies by not using chemicals such as Roundup or other herbicides on your lawn. In fact, why not get rid of your lawn? Well, there are many environmentally friendly alternatives. We're working on that right now on our front lawn because I hate to mow. Right? But after reading all these facts and figures, I'm excited to get rid of my lawn. Check out organizations that are working towards getting safe drinking water to individuals desperately in need. I like Life Straw. Has anybody ever heard of Life Straw? Okay. For $20, you know, life's a 20 and then you die, right? Okay, never mind. For $20, I can buy a straw that is donated to a third world country, and this straw protects against bacteria, parasites, microplastics, dirt, sand, and cloudiness. A straw. On a spiritual level, we talk quite a bit about oneness, but I think we forget quite a bit that we are also one with our planet. Everything we do affects countless others and this precious planet that we have been charged with taking care of. Selfish acts don't just affect you. They affect people all over the world. If we want our planet to be here for our children, we have to be the example now. Prayer is essential. I do it every day. But we also have to move our feet and act. And act now with intention. So this week, I invite you to ask yourself this question. Do my actions with water contribute to a world that works for everyone? Or a world that works for only me? And I'll leave you with this. Bruce Lee said, "Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless and shapeless like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend." Let's go into prayer. Feeling my soul right here, right now. My soul washed on the day that I was born. Acknowledging and knowing and confirming and affirming that there is only one source. It is the source of all. It is the source of my life and the life of each and every individual in this community and within the sound of my voice. I know that this source is the source of all of our lakes and our beautiful and amazing oceans, streams, rivers. I know that this source is the source of all of life, life as we know it, and life as we don't know it. It is the invisible made visible. It is that which is running in and through and breathing life eternal. As I know this to be the source, I know that it is liquid spirit running in and through and as all of us, as this community we call Ahava. I know that this place, this space that is breathing itself as the source is open and affirming to all. And I know Spirit, as that beautiful, flowing, amazing water of life, as love, I know it as abundance, prosperity, joy, grace, and all of these things. Yet I know it is no thing. It simply is that which is, always has been. And it continues to create out of itself only what is like itself, never being diminished by its creation, never being harmed or endangered by its creation. And I know it is from this absolute truth that I speak this word for this community, knowing that Spirit is right where we are, flowing in and through each lake, each stream, each tap that we turn on. That Spirit is right where we are, flowing in and through each of our beautiful and amazing trees and animals, all of our creatures, great and small, flowing in and through our individual selves, knowing that all comes together to support and sustain life teeming with beauty, life teeming with abundance and joy, life teeming with change, growth, all of it. For Spirit is right here, right now. And I drink from this source. I drink from this truth. As I know that for any of us who may be experiencing anything other than beauty and abundance and joy, that there is a greater truth to be known. And that truth is God is right where you are, right where I am. And that everything is unfolding in this beautiful and amazing divine order. How beautiful that is. How beautiful to know that there is a greater truth to be affirmed and to be embodied. How grateful I am. How grateful I am for this community and all who serve. How grateful I am for this community, knowing that its light goes far beyond these walls, and that we are the change makers, that we are indeed the light. And so it is through that grateful heart that I release this word into the perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says yes, it always says yes, it always says yes. Standing and affirming that yes, and standing in the power of grace. Shalom, hamdalela, ashe, namaste. Releasing this word, knowing it is so. And so it is. Amen, amen.